Well, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, love?
Mostly good. Yourself?
Mostly good. I'm doing pretty good, actually. Thank you. My legs aren't, but I am.
That's all we can hope for,
Yeah.
to be mostly good. Everything can look bad sometimes, so it's nice when it's mostly good.
Yes. And it's getting better, money wise.
Well, that's good. It's something.
Yeah, well, money always seems to be at the root of many of my problems, including my health.
There's a lot of conjecture that money is the root of all evil, and I'd like to rephrase that with lack of money is the root of all evil in our system.
I know you don't really mean that, actually, but yeah, I can
No,
do. I can.
I kind of do. People who are on the lower end of the financial spectrum tend to be more likely to commit crimes because their needs aren't being met.
Yeah, you're right. I've been thinking of robbing a bank.
That's what I mean. Like when you
I'm
have
just
it,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I always tell my kids I'm afraid of the homeless people, and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because when you have nothing left to lose, you have nothing left to lose."
I've always thought about that in fight terms. Like when you're fighting, if somebody wants to fight you and they have nothing left to lose, then they'll go crazy.
That's
But
what I
you're right.
mean.
You're right.
If you have nothing left to lose, what do you have to lose by taking bad chances?
Right. Well, plus if you're a meth head, you're also an idiot. An idiot. So
Well,
who
you're
knows?
in an altered state of mind, and I don't, not everybody who's homeless is an addict or crazy, though a lot of them are. Some of them are just homeless. They still, I mean, when you've got to rock bottom and you feel there's nowhere lower to go, you might be willing to do a lot of things. But anyway, the topic is flowers.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
I
that's a
didn't.
joke.
Oh, okay.
It's a joke just because every panel I've been on lately devolves into chaos.
Oh,
And they're always like panels, the title is always some big controversial idea. So I was like, well, let's put up flowers and see if that leads to the same chaos.
I didn't even. I couldn't even read what the topic was. I was watching the Iran news, and then I saw Witchy Bitchy come up, and I was like, oh, and then it says, let's see if, and then I thought, well, I couldn't read it quick enough, but I thought, oh, I'm going there, I'm going there. So I just came here and I didn't even see the title. I saw that Den had a title, or it wasn't Den's title, I guess he was simulcasting someone else, and it said something about your best times. And I thought, oh, that's
Well,
nice.
that one was fun. You'll have to check them out. It's Finding Gnosis. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I subbed to Finding Gnosis. Yeah.
yeah, I really like their panels, but like everywhere else, eventually it devolves into chaos and name calling and people talking over each other. And I've
Right.
been trying to go on every panel I can for a few days, and there wasn't one now, so I opened one because I got a promise from 10th Man that he was going to follow me to every panel I was on until I faced him when I refused to go on his panel.
Okay, and I refuse to go on his panel, so it's a double challenge.
Well, I thought he would show up when it was me and Den and Joe over at Gnosis yesterday, but he was streaming. And I won't go on his panel not because I don't want to face him about what he was restreaming about me. It's because I decided before that not to go on his panel because he directly said, Den told him, "You keep talking over Nikki, let her speak." And he said, "I don't want to hear what she has to say." And my feelings didn't get hurt, but I did realize that I was not in a place where my opinion was valued, so why go there?
Same here. He
And I
put me
offered
down
to.
because
Oh, go
even
ahead.
though they were they were all talking and they were all taking a long time to talk too, and it was their chance, and so and sometimes I'll be like saying yeah, like that, but people think I'm interrupting when I'm really just giving an amen, and so then he put me down, and then he kept on like putting me down. When I say put me down, he put me in the basement.
In the
But
basement, yeah.
yeah, but he was also putting me down while we were talking, and saying that everything I was saying was crazy, and a lot of things that I say are things that he used to say, but has changed his mind, and so
Mhm.
then when he put me in the basement, and I thought, well, okay, fuck it. He obviously doesn't respect me. He doesn't
I
respect
didn't.
my, so I thought, fuck it, I'm not going back there. And
I didn't
now
give him the
Dan,
opportunity to put me in the basement. I just left as soon as he said, "I don't want to hear what she has to say." I left. I was like, "That's it."
oh, see, yeah, because I know that he can be mean with his words, I just kept on ignoring it when he was being mean, right? I just thought that's just his personality or his persona, one or the other, and I just kept on
Well,
going, right? Until he put me in the basement, because then he just effectively shut me up, right? So I thought, okay, fine.
the irony is, he says he doesn't care what I have to say and didn't want to hear it, so I didn't go to his panel anymore, and I went to another panel where he even got a membership in order to play a stream to argue with something I said on somebody else's panel, but he wouldn't let me talk on his own. And then he wanted me to
Right,
actually come up on his panel to defend what I said on somebody else's panel that I didn't even say to him. And I told him, if you want to debate the topic that I brought up on that panel, we can do it on Beth's. And he said, "You're not allowed on Beth's anymore. Until you come face me, I'm going to track
whoa,
you down in every live panel that you're on."
wow,
Erica. So
wow, you,
I've been going on even obscure panels I've never heard of. I go to the homepage and I look for live and I find panels for a couple of days being like, "Okay, 10th, you want to go? Let's go." You don't want to go in a staged debate. You only want to go in your space. I'm not coming to your space.
right.
And since I couldn't find one to go on now, I was like, "Well, fuck it. I'll start one."
Well, you've achieved some sort of status then, bravo. I'm just
Oh, I don't
applauding.
want status. To me it's fun. If
No, I know
and
you
if
don't
we just
want
hang out and
status.
talk all day, I or not all day, I don't have all day. I have things to do. But
Yeah,
if we just hang out and talk for a while, that's fine too. Like, but to me, it's proving a point. Like the promise was made to follow me and ruin every panel I'm on, and it hasn't been withheld. It's nice to see you too, Erica.
so, oh, I can't see the chat. So then he's being a predator.
Well, he hasn't yet. So far, I've been on a bunch of panels and he hasn't shown up. So it was an empty threat.
Oh, okay.
And that was my point. My point was that he was trying to bully me
Right.
into going on his panel after I have already decided that that's not a place I want to go. And I don't mind being in the chats there. I don't mind the discussion there most of the time. But up on the panel, why do I want to be there if I'm just going to be furniture? I might as well stay in the chat, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and shut up unless other people are having a conversation and I'm not in it. But yeah, I'm not going up to a panel just to sit there.
Oh no, I get taking your turn and I get that people will talk over you in panels. It just works that
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
when the host literally says, when someone says, "Hey, I was trying to hear what Nikki had to say, let her talk," clearly says, "I don't care to hear what she has to say." It makes a clear message that I'm wasting my time and my breath. Sato.
On that panel.
Right, right. So I just went somewhere else. I go on other panels, and I still will hang out in the chat there sometimes. Well, not since he did the threat thing, because I'm trying to see if he'll actually follow through, just because it would be funny. But I suspected it was just empty threats to try and bully me onto his panel. And I used to love going on Zato's panel until he let fucking
Oh,
drunk assholes take it over.
Oh, Zatoichi. Hi, Zatoichi. I thought when I thought it was Sato with the S.
Oh
I
no,
didn't
it's
know.
Zatuichi.
She knows all
He's
kinds of
welcome to
people.
come up. So is Erica if they want. The panel,
No,
I think I
don't
pinned the link.
I'm just kidding. Um,
I just, I just, I won't go on his panel anymore because 90% of the time he lets up people like Zero and Steven and who's that other fucking one that pisses me off? Oh, I
oh, you're
can't
talking
remember
about
his.
Zatoichi.
Yeah, yeah, because they're all drunk and obnoxious.
Yeah,
And I can't.
yeah,
It's not that I don't like any of them. I like Zero. And even King Stephen, I don't dislike. It's just that it's, again, your furniture because they will yell over everyone on panel and run a monologue the whole time.
I really started to find Stephen entertaining. He like the fact that I mean the way he talks, he's got to be joking. Like he can't be serious.
I don't care if he's serious or not. He's still interesting. It's the fact that it's difficult when certain people on panel to have any kind of conversation because they run a
Yes.
monologue. They'll talk over everyone. They yell. I don't like
Yeah.
to yell.
Oh, I love to yell.
I know you do. And I'm fine with some yelling when people need to do it. It's when it becomes no matter who else says something, they are continuing to yell over them. And if they take a breath and someone thinks they have a chance to get in and starts talking, they just continue to yell over them as though they're not listening to anybody else. And then it's just, and that's fine if that's the show, if it's monologues by Zero or monologues by Steven. But when
Rada.
you're, well, I don't really know Rada that well, but I'll assume he's the same since you're bringing him
Oh,
up.
all he does is talk over top. He just keeps on talking, and he won't let you talk. Like it's just it's a troll thing, and it's not funny when it's you.
I just I feel like we all interrupt each other some, even in face-to-face polite conversation.
Oh
It's a natural part of conversation, and we make interjections like you just did of "oh yeah" and stuff like that in typical conversation, and those are fine.
yeah,
It's when there's if you're not talking about me, then I'm going to talk over everybody and make it about me.
right.
Howie's in the chats too.
Yeah, Bowie.
Yeah, Howie Hamster from
Oh,
Silver Diamond.
Howie. Hi, Howie. He showed up in my chat once or twice.
He's a cool guy. I like Howie. He's very quiet. He has
So
a calm demeanor for sure.
yes, he's probably
So,
most of the reason why there's no drama allowed in Silver Diamond's chat.
no, I think the no drama comes about from the fact that Silver knows how easy it is to get drawn into it, and she doesn't like herself when she's around those people. Kind of like me, why I don't go to any of those places anymore. It's not even about them. It's about how you feel about yourself when you're following along with them. And Howie says, "Hi, Miss Cat."
Thank you.
I know you can't
Um,
read the chats, so I'm just sharing with
I went
you.
to go read it, but I try to stay on the page where it's you and me. But yeah, I went in there and I read if I know somebody, and I know Zaduichi, and I don't know Erica.
That's Zato's girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know he had a girlfriend.
My
Hello.
understanding is that's Zatuichi's lady, and so
Aw.
I mean I like her personally just for herself, but by extension she's welcome through Zato. Does that? I'm not trying to like she's just I like her just because she's Zato's girlfriend, but that's what drew my attention to her was finding that out, and I
Right.
think she's a
No,
pretty
no,
nice lady.
I understand. I know you wouldn't
Well, it's like when
say
you're in a friend group and you've never met someone that one of your friends shows up with and says, "Hey, this is the person I've chosen to attach myself to." You want to
right.
assume good things about them, and she's definitely proven them. So,
I like the girl at Zatoichi's part. You know which one I like. I forgot her name.
Leslie.
Leslie, yes.
You and
I think,
Leslie are very similar. I can see why you would like her.
yeah.
Although she's a lot more soft spoken than you are in general. You share a lot of the same ideals, not
Right.
ideas, but ideals. You know.
What's the difference?
So ideas are ways of fixing things. Ideals are the way you'd like it to be.
Oh, I see.
Ideals are about the end result, whereas ideas are more about how to get there.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, actually. I suppose knew that. I just couldn't think fast enough.
Well, I
But yeah,
recognize when I'm defining things and explaining things with you anymore, Kat, I recognize that you went through a massive health issue. I'm not going to bring up your stuff unless you want to, but I recognize that sometimes it's not about that you didn't know or don't know, but that those neural pathways aren't as clear as they used to be, and that's why I.
yeah, they're not. That's why I don't really try to bust in on any of those, even the philosophical conversations. I just can't. I can't keep up. If I had time to think, then okay. But like you say, like you got to wait for a place where somebody actually takes a breath, where you can actually speak as well. And I can't speak that quickly. I couldn't before because of the stroke. I couldn't, uh, the stroke back in 2014. I can't
Right.
pull my words out properly, and also now my thinking, like before, it was just my words that I couldn't pull out. My thinking was still going, a million miles an hour. Now it's more like a walk in the park. Just okay, let me think about that. But I don't have any time to think about it. By the time I thought about it, we're on to another topic.
Well,
So
and I
I
think
can't keep.
that's somewhat intentional too, Miss Cat. That people don't take a long enough break to let anyone think because then they feel like they've won something.
No, that's true. Depending on who you're talking to, that's true. Some people who are not in the drama community, obviously, some people uh, don't feel like it's a win lose situation, but definitely anybody who I've met through the drama community, it's about winning. I mean, like Den, he for some reason he got really upset with me the other day. I was just like, I couldn't believe that he lost his mind about me because I mean, he had the panel. I was just in chat. So
I can't hear you though.
you can't hear me?
I don't want to
Testing.
end it.
1, 2, 3. Testing. Where's my mic? Testing. One. Oh. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can't remember if you've got a Apple. How you doing? You can hear me?
Hey, I can hear you now. Yay.
You have an Apple?
What was that?
You have an Apple?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Well, the issue was I got a phone call
Oh, okay.
and it switches my Bluetooth over to the phone call. And then I have to go out and come back in to get my Bluetooth to be recognized by StreamYard again.
Yeah, that happens on Android too.
So Erica said hi to you as well. And then she says,
Yeah.
people aren't listening. They're too busy thinking of a response to be right. I don't even know if they want to be right. They just want to be
Heard.
smarter than or better than. It's like, even
Oh,
if they know they're wrong, they'll continue to argue just to not, it's not even to be right, it's to not be wrong. That's what it is.
interesting. Interesting perspective. I just want to be heard. I don't really. I'm used to nobody understanding where I'm coming from because, I'm not very good at getting my point across. And Also, I'm used to people not agreeing with me. So I'm not necessarily, it would be nice if somebody said, yeah, you're right, Kathleen. But people don't recognize, even if later on I hear them talking and they're saying what I was saying, they still don't say, "Oh, Kathleen, I heard this from sorry, Kat, but I heard this from Miss Kat," and it's like I just want to be heard. I just want to be heard, considered, right? My opinion considered. If you consider my opinion and you decide I'm wrong, okay, fine. If you're a brainwashed, a Zionist brainwashed person, then I don't really respect your opinion anyway. But if it's Joe, for instance, if he doesn't agree with me, then okay, fine. He doesn't agree with me as long as he heard me.
See, and I feel like even if you have the opposing viewpoint from me, which you and I often do, I still respect your opinion because it's derived from your lived experience. I may not
Right.
agree with your opinion, but I still respect it because I get where it's coming from. It's your lived experience. And that's why I like discourse. That's why I like for people to be on panels and have conversations, or, when you go out in public to actually talk to people. Like, my mister gets offended sometimes because I'll talk to the person next to us in line. But I just feel like discourse, like just that back and forth, is a healthy way of keeping um your key
You're
flow,
fine.
your keeping your chi flow through your uh throat chakra. Like, you really need to be able to speak and be heard. And sometimes the best way to be heard is by a stranger, because your loved ones think they know you and they have presupposed
Wow.
ideas where most strangers at least don't know you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I know. Because as soon as you open your mouth, just the way that you speak and your voice and stuff, it just sort of triggers something inside your loved ones that that they think they know what you're about to say, or they think they know where it's coming from, and maybe they haven't seen what you've seen in the last bit, right? So they don't know where it's coming from, really.
So
But
just
they
to keep
think
the
you do.
chat involved real quick, I don't mean to cut
Yeah.
you off.
No, no, go
Um,
ahead.
Sato says, I'm better than all of you. Erica replies, Zat, you took my crown, damn you. She says, not cool. I'm getting it back. I'm taking my crown back.
Well, no, there's a crown for the king and a crown for the queen. So you can both have a crown. And I bought one too, by the way, from Timu.
I,
God,
I
I love
believe
Timu. Yeah.
I believe that um, as long as you're playful like they are, your
Mhm.
relationship is healthy. Like, they're picking at each other, but in a playful way. They're not going at something. Like,
Right,
if Zito was really big on his ego, that wouldn't be a thing she would pick on.
right.
But because he's not, it's what she chooses that they pick back and forth. Like, I really love that when I read that. It says, don't tell Zat he's the king. His head will be too big for his crown. And
Well,
she
that's his
also says,
problem.
yeah, it is. She also says, speaking your truth unblocks your throat chakras.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
So
I
I
also wanted to say, sorry, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I wanted to say something to what you were saying earlier about respecting somebody else's opinion because it comes from their lived experience. I I experienced that with you because you and we disagree on the most important thing in the world to me besides my babies, and yet because it was because it was you, I had to work harder to accept what you were saying, not as my truth, but as your truth. And so I could understand where it was coming from based on your explanation of your truth. So if other people could do that too, I could do that with them too. But a lot of times I don't. If they're on the other side of that wall, if they are, pro-Israel or whatever, I just can't respect their opinion. As far as I'm concerned, they obviously don't have any real information. And if they do have real information and they're still on Israel's side, then obviously they don't care about humanity. So I just poo poo their,
Well, can
whatever.
you consider maybe, Miss Cat, that they do care about humanity, but they see a different path as a better path for humanity than you do? Like, I'm not saying right or wrong here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so when I say respect someone's opinion, I don't mean abide their opinion. I don't mean change
No,
yourself due to their
no,
criticism or anything else. I
no,
mean,
no.
can you see though at least that maybe their care for humanity paints a different picture from their perspective than yours does?
Yours and okay, yours and Nudi's perspective is not a common perspective, and so I work harder to respect you guys' opinion when it comes to that topic. But uh, for others, yes, I do know the difference because obviously I respect your opinion, but you and I are on the exact opposite sides. So, no, not exact opposite. Sorry, we're not, because you're not inhumane. You just have a different opinion on. Well, I can't, I can't identify what the topic is, but you and I have a different opinion on it. So, but when it comes to other people, if I'm not hearing the same kind of perspective out of them that I'm hearing from you and Nudie, then no, I don't respect their opinion at all. At all. Zero respect. Minus respect. The opposite of respect.
See, and in that you are a lot like um, most people. They don't respect what they don't agree with.
No, but it's not that. It's not about that. It's because they are ill informed. And so, therefore, how can I respect their opinion if they're ill informed? In yours and Nudu's case, you guys are, you guys have a specific way of thinking about humanity and uh, the human, what do you say the word? The
Condition?
human, yes, thank you. The human condition. And so if I'm not hearing that from other people uh, or something that doesn't cross the political lines, right? Like the reason why you believe what you believe, and same as Nudu, has nothing to do with politics. I mean, everything has to do with politics has to do with everything, but you and Nudu's point of view does not have to do with the state of politics.
It's not about
Whereas,
taking sides, if that's what you're saying.
yeah, okay, good, thank you. Yes, it's not about taking sides. Whereas when people say that they're pro-Israel, they are taking a side. You're not pro-Israel. You are maybe
Pro one world
annihilating.
government.
Yeah, that you and I disagree on.
Yes. I'm pro world, one world government, one world, one race. I'm pro eugenics. I'm pro a lot of things, but I'm not necessarily pro Israel.
And you're anti-culture.
I'm not anti culture. I'm anti culture as an identity.
Okay. Uh, I think it just goes along with it. But yes. So
The idea, Miss Cat, as culture as an identity is labeling a group
yeah.
that they must all think alike because those are all
Oh no 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 no.
Islamists, those are all
Yeah.
Christians, those are all from this region of the world, those are
Yeah.
all Slavs, those are because within that group you're not going to have a homogeny. It's like If you ask
No,
10
never.
Christians to describe God, you're going to get 20 answers.
I like that. Yeah, no, no, I never think that either. Not all Christians, not all Muslims think the same. Like, not all Jews think the same. It's
And
not.
that's why I say I don't like culture as an identity. I don't like to identify people by their culture. I would rather know them and respect that their culture influences who they are.
Okay, but if you're going to make a blanket statement, which often is necessary, then then you can attach it to a culture, like, for instance, the Iran war, right? I mean, not all Iranians think the same way, but it is it's safe to say in a blanket statement. Oh, there's a third person. Hello,
Hello.
third person.
How do you feel about the watering down of culture though? Like
I don't like it.
every pizza you get now is not made by an old Italian man with skill. It's made by some 18-year-old punk who has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
Not
And he's
here, it's made by a Mexican
Indian.
here.
I was going to say Indian. Up here, it's Indian.
It's
Yeah.
made by a Mexican here, not a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, I don't want to shut them down. I don't necessarily want to go there if I'm, like, for me it would be Arabic food, right? So I don't want to, if I'm going to a place that they're making Arabic food but they're all white, like, for instance, a pita place, and they're making falafel, but they're doing it in the microwave, like that. I'll still eat there, but I'm not really going to say that's the best falafel. I'm going to send them to an Arabic place, right, where they
Mm.
fry it.
Are
So
you Arabic?
yeah. Well, I'm half Irish Canadian, half Arabic, and I was born and lived my whole life in Canada.
What do you
But
think about having dogs as a pet?
I just had dogs for many years.
Because Muslims don't, or Arabs don't like dogs as pets. They think they're
You're,
animals.
you're assuming I'm Muslim. A, my family is Christian, and B, I'm not anything because I don't belong to any club. So, so therefore, I don't know really. But I know Muslims who have dogs. So
Really?
yeah,
They're not good Muslims then.
I've never
maybe.
heard that. I've never heard that.
No,
I know people
problem
who
in New York now.
are.
The Muslims are complaining about people having dogs in the street and stuff, and they're saying that it's an unclean animal, and they don't like it. And they're bitching about people having dogs in New York City.
Well, that may be
I
true, but I don't know that it's a religious precept to not have dogs. I think what they're complaining about is, and this is understandable, is that people leave waste everywhere.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. That's what I would think. It's got to do with the habits of the humans, not the
And
actual.
how do you know if it's dog waste or human waste in New York, dude?
Oh, I think you could tell.
I don't
I'm
know
not going to
how.
look at it that closely, though.
If it has corn in it, it's human.
Oh my God, I'm not looking for corns. I'm going to assume it's the dogs when I see people watching a bunch of dogs, and I'm coming from a country where people don't shit in the street. But in the United States now, people shit in the street. Like, that is a real thing in most cities.
Yes, I
Wow.
know. I see it all the time.
Really?
Not in my city, but online.
The city I live in, where else are they going to shit? Where I live, even if you're a customer, they won't give you the code to the bathroom. They'll come put it in for you. And if you
Yeah.
take too long, they'll be knocking on the door because they have people ODing in their bathrooms, showering in their bathrooms.
Yeah, every time I go to a doctor's office or a lawyer's office and it's in a small building, all the bathrooms on all the floors have a 4-digit code you have to put in to get
Oh
into it.
my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my
Even
gosh!
gas stations, Miss Cat, even petrol stations. If you go to the gas station to fill up, say you're traveling, you would go to the gas station, fill up, and use the bathroom, get a drink, right? You have to
Yeah.
get them to put a code in to let you into the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
No. When I was traveling, even in the States, because I spent 10 years, half that time. Uh,
This is about a last 10 years thing, Kat.
okay, because when we were traveling, we just get a key attached to a like 2x4, and that's how you get in the bathroom. And they'd give you the 2x4 with the key. They wouldn't go
Well,
and open themselves.
well, that's smaller towns. If you went to the big, say,
No,
the truck stops. Remember, you used to go to truck stops
no,
sometimes,
no. We didn't
and
have
you
a
just they
foot.
have the bathroom inside the building, and you walk in.
There was no code. I never saw a
There is
code.
now, is what I'm telling you. That
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
done that now because of the homeless situation in cities. If you're in a big city, the bathrooms are locked up, and a lot of places will even tell you their bathrooms out of order if you're not a customer.
In New York City, if you go to Grand Central Station, and this was 20 years ago, they had no bathrooms because there were so many problems with junkies and homeless people that they just stopped having bathrooms. So I get to New York City and I have to take a piss, and I'm like, "Where's the bathroom?" And they're like, "There are none." And I'm like, "What do you mean there are none?" And they explained it to me, because there were too many problems. So there's no bathroom in Grand Central Station in New York City.
Unfortunately, I did not get to see New York City because my boyfriend, my American boyfriend, who I spent 10.5 years with,
They had such an issue that they tried locking him at first, but then people broke in, so they just raised him.
They got rid of them, yeah.
Hello? Testing. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
And I can't hear you guys again.
Oh, that's why she talked. So we spent 10.5 years in a motorhome, living in a motorhome, and he was American, I'm Canadian, so we had to cross the border every
Yeah.
6 months. And so he was hi baby, and he was a corrections officer.
Oh
And
boy.
because he was corrections officer for New York State, he was up in Dannemora, up in north, up near Montreal. But he had people in the jail from New York City, and he said if we went there and anybody recognized him, they'd kill him.
Yeah.
So we weren't allowed to go to New York City. So I never got to see New York City. So I never got to go to a bathroom in New York City. But it was probably like that, like you said, 20 years ago.
Well, I've been to New York City once, maybe twice, but like the time I remember, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, it was just a busy city. I wouldn't want to be driving on the streets because of the taxi cabs flying through
Right.
the red lights and shit. But like other than that, it didn't seem that different from the city I grew up in. But but one thing I did notice is that people were friendly to me, and I didn't expect that. Like this old lady
Right.
asked me to watch her purse, and I looked like I had just come out of the woods, and like, and she asked me to watch her purse while she went to the bathroom at a Dunkin' Donuts right in the middle of the city, and I was impressed by that. I was like, oh, thank you.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'll watch it.
I don't think that would be common, though.
I don't know. It was just
That
it was,
anybody would ask you to watch their purse.
but like I don't know. The city was interesting. I mean, it had definitely the best food I've ever had in my life. But like, I had to go to the bathroom, and I walked into a Irish pub, and I asked them if I could use their bathroom, expecting them to say no, and they said yes. And I went to the bathroom, and then I went and got a pint at the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, and it wasn't crowded like I thought it would be.
And
Yeah, I would
I
have.
don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kat.
No, I was just amening him. I would have expected it to be crowded. Go ahead.
I've never lived in a city larger than Denver. I've never even been to a city other than to visit briefly in LA. And I got really sick while we were there because of elevation. I've lived my whole life at 7,600 feet, and that's sea level. I
Right.
did not enjoy the ocean. So my experience in the small cities where I lived when I was younger, you could go to the city and you could go into any business and they'd let you use the bathroom. They'd give you a cup of water if you needed one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the rise in homelessness, and I live in the middle of the desert, so you would think they'd give you water. With the rise in homelessness, they don't do it anymore.
Huh?
Wow. You would think that if you have something to offer, that you would give it. So if you have a bathroom, okay, so maybe if they leave it a mess, you just go clean it up. It's
What
just your,
happens when twice a week people are ODing in your bathroom, Miss Cat?
Yeah.
well, you just ask the ambulances to park around the corner so that people don't think that it's
Right, but
associated
how
with.
disruptive is that to your business to have ambulances coming in and out to remove ODing people?
Well, you just leave them in there and let them rot. I mean,
But then the next customer doesn't have use of the bathroom. Your employees don't have use of the bathroom. Like,
just have the next customer shit on top of them until you have a compost pile.
You could have one bathroom for homeless people and one bathroom for people who don't look homeless.
so they tried that here at Miss Cat. They set up bathrooms
Really?
for the homeless, and they really destroyed them. There were rapes and stabbings inside of them.
Wow.
So what they do now is they have a mobile unit that drives around to encampments with a bathroom and shower they can use. And it drives around to these encampments every day and allows them facilities. But if you're not in the right encampment, you don't get the facilities today. So these people literally just shit on the street.
Mhm.
Wow.
With
You know what,
traffic
though?
passing
That makes-
on the middle of the sidewalk, they don't even bother to go to the alley anymore. They will be right there leaning against someone's fence around their yard with traffic passing, taking a shit on the sidewalk.
That might be a political statement, though.
No, they just have to shit and there's nowhere to go.
But that in itself is a political statement because it's reflecting on the conditions of the city that they're living in, that they don't have a place to go or a place to shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And people always say, well, there's the homeless shelters. We do have a lot of shelters here. There is a lot of community involvement in that way. However, here's the thing, the shelters require certain things of you. And I'm not even just talking about clean drug tests, because not every one of them gives those, but you have to maintain a certain level of decorum. You have to have some sort of identification,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
and you have to be willing to take placements to other places for improvement. Like if they get you a placement in a drug rehab, if they get you a placement in a living facility where you're sharing space with other people, you have to be agreed to be willing to take that placement, or else they'll take somebody else who will be.
And a lot of those people are so fucking mental and like anti-societal that they just don't fit into those categories.
Well, since they closed the state hospital in my state, the city that I live near, Albuquerque in particular, has this issue where what they did was they created these private run businesses that buy homes, and they lease space to these mental patients through the state. The state pays for them, and they're responsible for getting them their meds, feeding them and stuff. But they don't get paid unless they have a record of feeding them and giving their meds. So these people will be allowed to walk off and they don't come back for 3 days, but the home still records having fed them and gave them their meds, or they wouldn't be
That's
paid.
like what the fucking Somalians were doing in Minnesota.
And the homes have no enforcement to force them to come back either. So even if they did report that they left, all that happens is they lose pay. They don't necessarily get the patient forced back into their care.
Right.
You guys live in a really uncivilized, brutal country.
Yeah.
We live in dystopia and everybody tries to pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
They go and watch dystopic movies and are entertained by them, and then walk outside and ignore the dystopia around them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, those movies that they used to show us years ago that were supposed to scare us, they're practically real now, you know?
Yes. You know, when Stupid 19 came along, I don't know if you can say it or not, but when Stupid 19 came along, I experienced the invasion of the body snatchers.
What?
Like, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It was a movie I saw in the 70s.
Yeah.
When I was 12, and Spock was in it, and Donald Sutherland, and at the end it was just Donald Sutherland as a woman, and then Donald Sutherland was taken over, and it was just the woman, and she was the one that left. And I got goosebumps just telling you about it, and that was very scary to me, that you couldn't go to the cops for help because the cops were taking over and stuff like that. So at 12, that was really scary, and I kept that with me all my life, and here I was living it in Stupid 19. People with face diapers, like everybody around with face
The
diapers,
mindless
like
compliance. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
well,
they were all
what
calm.
scared the shit out of me as a kid was The Blob. Have you ever seen that movie from the
I
60s? I
did,
think
but I can't remember.
it was about this gelatinous blob that could like go underneath doors
Yeah,
and and cracks and things. And
yeah,
so when I was a kid, I went to bed. I was scared by it, and I was a little kid, but I would face
yeah.
the wall. My bed was against the wall, so I would face the wall because I figured that if it was coming from the middle of the room, I would be able to hear it coming. But if
Right,
it stuck up between the wall and the crack between my bed, then I better be watching. And
right.
to this day, I sleep on my right side facing the wall. Like to this day, I'm 56. That was a long time
For
ago.
me,
Yep,
for me, it was
yep,
The Mist. The Mist. It's a short story by
yep,
Stephen King.
Yeah,
yep. Saw
That
that
they
was
too.
did.
the one.
They did the movie of The Fog, which was similar, I think.
That one and
But
the original Stepford Wives. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
yes. I do remember the Stepford Wives. Yes, that also.
Not the new one. The new one's kind of glossed over. The
No,
old
no,
one was a
no,
horror
the old
movie.
one. The old one. Well, I mean, I don't know if the new one was a horror movie or not, but the old one. I mean, I never thought of it as a horror movie, but it is scary. It's not like got a lot of blood and guts or anything. It's just that it was really scary to have people's minds take over. I mean, the Blob is scary. I can see how that would be scary when you're a kid and how it would affect your mind even as an adult. But when it comes to people's minds being taken over, that's what scares me.
Well, then,
Sato, I want to throw out that if you want to restream, you're welcome to. I know you're monetized, and if your audience wants to be there to donate to you and stuff, that's fine.
who
Not like I have an audience anyway, ever.
who are you talking to?
You, if you
Yeah.
wanted to restream,
No,
because I know
no,
you're
I'm good.
monetized.
Good, thank you. Miss Kato, what if you don't like your mind being taken over? What did you think about The Exorcist?
Well, that was your soul being taken over, but that was very scary. But the Omen scared me more.
Why?
The Omen scared me because there were people all around him that were lifting him up, that they were protecting him, and they were in high positions.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that scares me is, even though I've grown up and I realize that there are no heroes and that the cops are not actual heroes, but it I don't I can't really defend myself. I didn't grow up defending myself. I'm the kind of person who I don't call the cops, but if
Yeah.
somebody's in distress, if somebody's being beaten up and they don't have it, I can't protect them, I will call the cops. So to not be able to call the cops to me is a scary thing. The
Hmm.
fact that we can't trust anybody in politics is a scary thing, like the people high up.
You can't trust anybody, period, and that's the scariest thing.
Well, yeah, but like for instance, I trust Nikki.
You shouldn't.
Nikki will throw you into the fire at the first opportunity.
Miss Cat, if it were between you and one of my kids, I'd choose my kid instantly. You shouldn't trust me to put your interests first.
But we're
I'm
never
always
in
going to
that.
put my own first.
We're never in that position. So
Right, but that's
there's
what you're
never.
asking of politicians, is to put your interests first. No one is ever going to
But
put others' interests before their own.
Hmm.
they're not. They're in a position where they are supposed to be putting
Yeah,
other people.
supposed
Same
to.
thing as a jury. Same thing as a
Supposed
judge.
And Jesus is supposed to love all of us, but where is the love?
Well, that's the other thing, is that all these self-proclaiming Christians. I'm not a Christian, but I do love Jesus. I love Jesus, but I don't think of him as a demigod. I think of him as a human being who was a teacher and of high ethical, moral fiber, and so I really love him, and so I do the what would Jesus do? So not in every case, but when it comes to, for instance, I've been here for over 4 years, and I do my best to 99% of the time. If I have something negative to say, I just don't say anything at all. And I try to find something positive to say, and I try to find the positive aspects of people. So unless they just keep on hammering me, like certain people in the drama community have done, then I kind of don't go the extra mile for them anymore. But I did in the beginning.
Well, I love people. I love talking to people and everything. But on the other hand, when I'm on the highway, driving interstate or whatever, and some fucking asshole with this loud ass car comes riding up on everyone's ass, forcing them to get out of the way, that pisses me off, because they're risking everybody, including their own lives, by being that way. I mean, we're all doing 85 anyway. What the fuck are you doing?
What would Jesus do on the highway?
Huh?
What would Jesus do on the highway?
Yeah, he probably would have shot somebody if I know him, because
He'd part the Red Sea.
He turned over the table. He turned over the tables in the temple. He got pissed and he flipped over those tables. Imagine what he would do on the highway today.
Yeah, he'd part the Red Sea.
Do like Moses do.
That movie. Didn't Jim Carrey do a movie where he parked all the cars in front of him because he was God?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
What's that called?
What's that called?
It was called
Bruce Almighty.
Oh yeah, I never saw that. I should watch that.
Oh, you should. Oh my gosh, that was so. You know what? The thing that I remember with that movie is all the people who were talking to him, like making prayers to God, and they were all in emails. He just had so many. It was great. Oh, that was a funny movie.
No, I like that one and the other one. What was it with Carroll, Steve Carroll? Something else almighty is where he had to build the ark.
Yeah, he fucking became God somehow, right?
No, he became Noah.
Noah, right.
Wasn't it his son? I thought it was about his son.
No, he had to build. It was Stephen Carroll, and he had to build the ark. And his wife thought he was crazy, and everybody thought he was crazy. And then a dam broke, and his ark saved the whole town.
There was a what do you call it? Like it's a few parts. It was a British movie, and it was called The Second Coming. And Christopher Eccleston was in it. He played the first reiteration of Doctor Who, Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, and I know Doctor Who pretty good.
Yeah. That's right. You and I are sci-fi buddies. So Christopher Eccleston played the Second Coming. He played Jesus, and he was just some soccer hooligan, football hooligan, and all of a sudden he realized he thought he wasn't quite sure, but everything was pointing to that he was Jesus and that he was the Second Coming, and he had like a little group of friends, just like 2 or 3 friends, right? And one of his friends, the thing that I remember the most about that movie is that one of his friends, she was a mousy little thing, and she was her husband decided, like, he hated her, and he decided he was going to leave her because they knew that there was only a certain amount of time left before the end of days, right? And so he decided he's not going to spend the rest of the end of time with her, so he left her, and he had said all kinds of rotten things to her, and she was feeling really bad. And so she goes to this store, and you know how the store will always have, like, you can put your change in for some kind of,
Yeah.
charity or whatever. She starts putting her change, all the change, into the thing, like she was hoping she would be saved by putting this change in for the charity. I found that really striking, because it's that's the way that people think, is that somehow they're good people just because they do the leap.
Well, I have not read the Torah, but I've watched a couple videos for like children that explain stories from the Torah. Not the
Yeah.
Torah, excuse me, not the Torah, the Quran.
Oh,
And the Quran, it seems like every story I've seen so far, it seems like it's some Arab guy trying to make a deal with God, like making a bargain with God. Like, if you do this for me, I'll sacrifice, 72 cattle or whatever, like
no.
it's this weird bargaining with God kind of fucking thing that I don't understand. Like,
But obviously it's not isolated to Muslims, because it's Christians too.
yeah, but it
And-
seems like they're talking like
Probably.
they can pay for their sins through material wealth, like that's what it seems like they're saying.
Yeah, but the whole idea of trying to appease some upper echelon elite uh, form of being, right? Everybody's got that. They've got sacrifices and shit like that. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
how is that any different than the Catholics, where you go and confess your sins and then you have to do penance, but then Monday you can do the same freaking sin again and then come back Saturday
Well,
and
no,
confess your sins, do penance, and then Sunday eat the body of God.
They're supposed to advise you not to do it again.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
if
they
you come
do.
back and you give the same penance, the priest is still, or the same confession, the priest is still just going to give you penance again.
I know. I've been telling my priest about how every 6 months I shit on the altar and I confess it to him, and he has not turned me in yet. And that's been going on for 25 years.
There you go. That's probably a lot of friggin' rosaries, though.
So years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
I converted to Catholic because of my second husband's family, and I did these classes.
Yeah.
And as we're taking these classes, you're encouraged to ask questions. And after the first couple of weeks, I realized other people are encouraged to ask questions, not me, because the questions I asked
We're not good.
made the priest
Uneasy.
angry. And
Yeah.
and what I recognized was that they're okay with the hypocrisy. If you try and call it out, you're the bad guy for noticing the hypocrisy. They're not bad for being hypocritical.
Right.
How could you even convert? I mean, obviously you were just trying to be part of the club so you'd be accepted for your husband, but look, why would you do that when you don't even believe in a higher being?
I do believe in higher being. I'm a
Just
theist. I'm not an
necessarily
atheist.
that one.
Kat.
Just not necessarily that higher being and their rules and their regulations, right?
I'm a theist, 100%. I have the representations of several deities on my altar.
You know what's funny is I did
allowed.
I did DMT and I fucking was convinced that there is a God, and now I'm starting to question it.
Oh, the Catholics have their varied deities too. They just call them saints, Miss Cat. They pray to them as much as they pray to their God. They pray to the Mother Mary, and they commit witchcraft in every mass.
La ilaha illallah. There is no God but God. You can't put a saint on the same level as a God.
And yet the Catholic Church,
yeah.
And yet the Catholic Church, which is the first and foremost in Christian culture, has prayers to Saint Peter, prayers to Saint Paul, prayers to Mother Mary. I mean, one of the biggest prayers you're assigned in penance is Hail Marys.
You can make prayers. You can make prayers to your parents if they passed. You can make prayers, but as far as knowing that there is a God, there is the God. It's just the God. That's it. It's not a God. It's the God. So you can't think like that. If you're a yes, I know Catholics are the ones who started the whole industry of Christianity, and Zaruichi. Nikki's already heard this a million times, but my family is from Palestine, and they would have walked with Jesus. They're Christians from forever. Like I asked my aunts, my Arabic aunts, why are we Christian when so many of the Arabs are Muslims? And I said, were we Christian because England took over Palestine and they were the Anglican Church because we're Anglican. A lot of us, not all of us. Some of us are Greek Orthodox, and they said no, and they looked confused, and they said we were always Christian, and what they meant was we were Christians before the 300 AD, before there was any industry of Christianity. It was
Followers of Christ before Christianity.
Yes, and my family were recorded on the census as the same time as Jesus. So, and my family is from Nazareth and Bethlehem. So chances are my family walked with Jesus. And so my family are true Christians, not like Jesus was not a Christian, right? They were true followers of Christ, or not Christ, Jesus. They would have thought Christ, but Jesus. So, and plus, I don't think Jesus said, I am the Son of God. I think he said, I'm the Son of God, like you're the Son of God, and I'm the daughter of God, and Nikki's the daughter of God. So that's the way I think he said it, and I think it was just changed in the Bible, on purpose for reasons. So that's who my family is. So I really do love Jesus, but only as a man, not as a demigod. And I'm surprised that Nikki, who I've known for a few years now, that I got the idea that she did not believe in God.
Well, Gnosticism is going to blow your mind because they say that Jesus is the emissary from the one true God, and the God of the Bible is a false God, an imitator.
Well, if that's true, it wouldn't surprise me. I thought Gnosticism was just believing in a higher power, but you could do it in any way you wanted.
Oh, you can do it any way you want because the God of this world is an imposter. He's a faker. He's trying to create creation on his own, but he doesn't have the same power that the one true God has. And that's why we have to escape this existence.
I have a completely different understanding of Gnosticism. I thought it was a search for higher knowledge and connection. Let me look it up because
that's gnosis.
We all have a different idea of it. Let's see what it says.
What's the difference? It starts with a G.
Yeah.
I know how to spell it.
You know what? The God that people do worship here is a false God because, I mean, I don't believe in God anyway, but it's a false God, and it's the church of Satan. It's Zionism.
Okay, so this is what it says. Gnosticism is an ancient, diverse, and primarily 2nd to 3rd century AD religious movement emphasizing gnosis, secret knowledge, over faith as the path to salvation.
Right.
It is characterized by a dualistic worldview, viewing the material world as evil, created by an inferior deity, the demiurge, while human spirits are divine sparks trapped within these bodies. Gnostics believed that salvation is attained by escaping the material prison, often viewing Jesus as a teacher of secret wisdom rather than a sacrificial redeemer.
Yeah, that's how I envision him. That's how I envision him, Jesus. So I'm a Gnostic?
Oh yeah, you're an
Well,
Gnostic.
I mean, if you believe that and you believe that the material world is evil
It is though.
Well, it,
and you're
it, it
seeking to
kind of, it
escape
kind
it.
of, well, no, I'm not really seeking to escape it because I'm trying to win $80 million. But uh, I can see how this world could be viewed. I just don't believe in, I use the word evil a lot to describe, yet I don't actually believe in Satan. So I can't really say that I believe, and I don't believe in a God. So I believe that God is just energy. I don't believe that God is a person, like that has a personality, or a male or a female or anything like that. I think God is just the source energy,
I
and we
believe all
are
the
in that.
gods are true and real.
Really?
Yes, because reality stems from how we perceive the world, and if that's how some people perceive the world, then it is real for them. And
Well,
they
yes.
all, I kind of see God as. Have you ever heard the parable of the Indian man and the elephant?
Yes.
The Indian
I
parable of the
love that.
blind
I
man and the
taught it to my
elephant. So
grandson. I taught it
these
to my
blind
grandson.
men, these blind men go and they find an elephant, and they're each touching different parts, so they describe the elephant differently, and none of them
Yeah,
is right. And that
yeah.
elephant is God. So each different belief in the power that is greater than all of us is based off of the point of view of the people looking at
I didn't teach my grandson that the elephant was God. I didn't even think of that. But I did teach him that, that a lot of times we don't have all the information, and that we should all realize that sometimes we're just touching the elephant.
it. Well,
So,
and I see the elephant as God because each person
you're
comes
right.
to it from their own direction and is going to see something different, but it's so big and we're so blind we can't describe the whole thing.
Well, see, those I don't know if you've seen them, Zaruichi, when people give their testimony for when they died and they near death experiences, NDEs. Have you seen them? Is that?
I don't know if he's with us right now.
Are you peeing, Zat? I want to wait till he gets back.
It's all that booze everybody gives him shit about drinking. He's got to pee all the time. Now, he probably had to do something for his mom, or he ran to get a smoke, or he'll
Oh,
be
he lives
back if
with
he
his
wants
mom?
to. He's a
I
smoker,
didn't know.
yeah.
No, I say he lives with his mom.
Well, I don't know if he lives with his mom or his mom lives with him, but he is his mom's primary caregiver.
Oh, I just thought he had his own place. Um, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know which
Um,
way it goes, whether he lives with her or she lives with him, but I do know that he cares for his mom on a daily basis.
right. Well, shit, what was I going to say to him? I can't remember what I was going to say to him.
You're
The
going to
ending.
talk to him about near-death experiences,
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah.
I don't know how long it'll be till he comes back.
Okay, well, for anybody who's listening, the NDEs, I've studied them and I've seen a lot of them. And it's everybody has their own view of what there is on the other side. There's certain things that run through all of them that are the same, but some meet Jesus on the other side. Some don't meet anybody on the other side. Some meet their loved ones on the other side. But and some see it as a library. Some see it as a beautiful garden. A lot of them go down a tunnel, but that could be the brain. The way that the brain goes when you're
I don't know.
getting unconscious.
I've had two
Yeah.
NDEs myself, and they were both different.
Wow. Okay, so but they were different times of your life, so you might have had different view on life. I mean,
I
you
don't know.
decided
Yeah, they
you
were
wanted to
definitely at different
travel.
times. The first one I was 18 months old and I had a heart attack. I was born with a hole in my heart. And I was
How do you
18
remember
months old. I had,
18 months?
because I remember looking down on my little body being worked on by doctors when they were giving me that electric shock thing.
Interesting. I wonder if you remember it from an older age based on what you were told and what you'd seen on TV.
I don't know. I remembered
And
it at a very young age, and I remembered it, and I thought it was a dream when I brought it up to my mother, and she said, "Well, you did have this incident," because I hadn't known. I was maybe 10
oh,
years old, and I came to my mother about this dream that I kept repeating, and
yes,
she told me that, oh, well, when you were 18 months old, you were born with a hole in your heart. It's a genetic condition,
right.
and that I had experienced having a heart attack at 18 months old. And that's the memory that I described to her was like, well, that's what happened to you.
Okay, that's different. That actually that actually happened to me, but it wasn't about my death because I died when I was 4 weeks old. But I don't remember an NDE. And when I just went under the knife just last year, I didn't have an NDE, but then I probably didn't come close to death. So, um, but that's interesting. So what did you see on the other side, or do you just remember
I
being
remember being drawn back into the body on the table.
okay? Because I that used to happen to me a lot when I was a kid. I used to be able to travel out of my
And
body
then,
when I was a kid
ah,
and go see my parents in the other room or something like that.
cool.
And then I remember going
That's out
back
of
into
body
the
experience, though, not
yeah.
NDE. And then the second time I had NDE was with my firstborn son. I wasn't dilating, so they put me on Pitocin, which increased my contractions, but not my dilation. And my doctor was at home drinking wine, and they kept trying to reach her to get her to take me off the Pitocin, and I was hemorrhaging. So I had an emergency cesarean, from which I bled out on the table, and they had to give me a bunch of blood and resuscitate me.
Jesus
And
Christ.
and in that experience, I didn't have anything. It was just nothingness. Like the only
Which kid
thing I
is that?
remember
That's
about
the
that
one.
experience, the only thing I remember about that experience is uh this thought in my head of I'm never going to get to meet my son.
Okay, so that son is the one that's gonna have to take care of you when you're old. Just remember that.
Well, they had to resuscitate him too. The umbilical cord had wrapped around his neck and he'd gone into a fetal arrest and his heart had stopped.
Yeah, but he wasn't giving up anything. You were by having him, so he owes you. Just
No,
keep that
I
in
mean he
mind.
does take care of me. We're really close.
I'm
He's my
kidding
oldest.
you. I'm kidding you. They all should be taking care of you.
But I
Um,
mean just being realistic in this day and age, it's very unlikely my kids will be able to take care of me unless drastic changes happen in the economy.
but when you were 18 months old, if your NDE was just about body or soul travel, then like I mean, just going to the like just seeing yourself and then going back into your body. I'm not sure that's an NDE. Like, what did you actually die, or did you just have a heart attack?
I don't know. I was 18 months old. Um,
Yeah, but
I
your
know
mom
that
would
I
tell you
know
you
that I
died.
bled out on the table in my 20s, and they were prepping my mom for neither me or my child to survive.
Yes, but did you actually die? Because an NDE is when you actually die.
Well, they had to resuscitate me. It took several minutes to resuscitate me, and
Okay, so you
there
died.
was a time where it was made clear to my mom that she could no longer be in the vicinity because they had lost my pulse.
Yes, if your heart stopped, or you stopped breathing, and you were about to like that's dying, but just needing oxygen or whatever, that's not really dying, right? So that's why I was
Yeah,
checking. So
I don't know if they would
what
qualify
happened
as
with that?
NDEs. I've never like gone out and been like, oh, I have this story of near death. I'm just saying, for me, both times that I came close to death's door in my life were different experiences. So I don't know if that's true of other people who have come close more than once.
Somebody's fire alarm's going off in the building, so maybe I'm about to die. So
Oh, he's back.
Hello. Yeah,
oh,
I had to take care of an ID 1010. What is it? ID 10T error.
so you couldn't hear us?
No, I was downstairs. Sorry.
Oh, that's all
He
right.
said an
So
ID 10T error. That's an
I don't
idiot
know that.
error, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of that. So what happened with your when the second time? Did you travel to the other
No, the
world?
only thing I remember from that entire experience was before they put the gas on me, thinking I'm never going to get to meet my son.
Okay, so you were still alive. Okay, so when these NDEs happen, everybody has their own interpretation of what's waiting for them on the other side. Everybody has their own. Every single person has their own interpretation. Some might overlap because they both believe in Jesus, so they both see Jesus on the other side, something like that, right? But everybody has their own interpretation. So, like Zat was saying, uh, everybody will have their own slightly different or very different interpretation of what God is or what heaven is or the fact that there is a heaven or anything like that, right? So I don't know what I would see now, but what I would see now is not the same thing as what I would see when I was 18 years old, right? Because I thought differently back then, or let's say 7 years old, because I believed in God back when I was a kid, and I believed God was watching all the time because I went to Catholic school, and I believed God was watching all the time. And my mom, I only went to Catholic school for kindergarten and grade 1, and my mom was like, "Why did I put you in a Catholic school?" Because I was always following around and stuff like that and commenting, and I would say, "Oh, Jesus wouldn't like that. God wouldn't like that. God, God would say that's wrong." And she'd say, "Why did I send you to a Catholic school?"
I'm
So I was
starting
all,
to think that if God is nothingness, absolute nothingness, I'm starting to think that would be heaven, because you would just never ever be bothered by anything because you don't exist.
I think that's your hurt. I think that's your hurt talking.
What hurt?
Whatever hurt you have. I don't
I'm
know
the
your
one,
story.
I'm the one who gives the hurt.
You do live in pain, Zato. You've spoken
No,
about it a number of times that you live in pain.
I
Yeah.
mean hurt like in your soul. I mean not your soul, but your heart, like that kind of hurt. I don't mean like how my leg hurt. Right? I mean it's hurt in. I mean you're a drinker, right? So and the fact that you always drink means that you hurt.
I don't
So
always think.
He doesn't always drink.
oh, okay. I thought that was okay. That's just
That's
the.
like that's like the same thing they say about you when they say you smoke crack.
No, but every time I see his live streams. I see he's drinking or he's talking about drinking or
Yeah,
He's not
sure.
always drinking.
I only drink
okay.
during the live streams, really.
Okay, don't you live stream every day?
Not every day, no.
Okay. Well, anyway, you have hurt. Everybody's got hurt. So I think it's your hurt talking because I think that it's like a piece of nihilism in you. That it
Mm.
would just be better if it was just nothing. That nothing could hurt you. It
I don't
doesn't
know. I
matter. You
kind of
don't.
get what he's saying though,
That God would be
Miss
nothing.
Cat. Not about hurt. Not God is nothing. He said heaven. is
I thought
nothing.
he said God is. I thought he said he was starting to think that God would be nothingness.
No, that heaven would be going to nothing, like
Break
not
the
having
tie.
to have the concerns of this
Existence.
existence.
Yes, and that, I think that's his hurt talk.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would see it that way, and not just the hurt. Even joy can cause anxiety and stress for people. It's not always pain. The
Right.
emotions of this world can control us in a lot of ways, and to be free of those and feel nothing might be a kind of heaven.
Okay, then let me change it to imbalance because it just made me think of Nudie. Because I always think of joy as a great thing, and he thinks of it as imbalance because he thinks that uh, balance would be the best state, right? Whereas I think joy is the best state, but that means that's an imbalance, right? So let's say imbalance.
So perfect balance would mean that there is no joy or pain,
Which would
Right.
be nothingness.
which would be
Well,
nothingness, which
or
is what he's
everything.
saying.
It could be nothingness, or it could be everything. Think about D&D. If you are and I heard you just say this the other day. I happened to uh, click on when you said this that in D&D you think of yourself as uh, what's it, neutral or something?
Oh, chaotic neutral. Yeah.
Chaotic neutral, and so I guess that's sort of a little bit imbalanced. But the neutral part, the neutral part is not wanting anything bad to happen to anybody, but it's also not wanting anything good to happen to anybody.
Well,
So
it's like I just don't care because what the fuck am I going to do about it either way? You know?
Right. He doesn't want good or bad to specifically happen to anybody. He breeds the idea of chaos, that I don't that things shouldn't be so under your control. That's what chaotic neutral
Well,
would be.
no,
They
no.
come in.
Chaotic neutral is like Han Solo. He's like kind of a criminal, but not really. You know, like he stays just under the law, smuggling shit, and
he's a Robin Hood. Robin Hood isn't chaotic neutral because
no,
Yeah, I don't
Robin
think
Hood.
Han Solo is a chaotic neutral. He takes a side.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
You're
no,
right.
no, but he doesn't.
He takes
Yeah,
a
but he
side,
doesn't.
and not even for money in the end.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. No, Han Solo takes a side later on, but when you first meet him, he's just all about himself. So he is
But a chaotic neutral in D&D can't, at the end of the fucking
game.
why can't I think of the words? There's a word for it though that I can't think of.
The game.
It's like when you go out with people and you're
Socializing.
remember it when it doesn't matter.
The event.
You can't at the end of the story suddenly pick a side. You're neutral to the end.
He didn't do that at the end
Campaign.
of
That's the word. Campaign, at the end of the campaign.
well, that's yeah, that's. But he didn't do it at the end of the campaign. He did it in the middle of the campaign. So
But I'm just
he
saying,
wasn't.
you don't get to chaotic neutral means you're neutral. You don't get to suddenly take a side, and Han Solo did.
Well, I just looked it up, right? Chaotic neutral character, often called a free spirit, prioritizes absolute personal freedom, individuality, and whim over laws, tradition, or morality. They are
Yeah,
unpredictable, self-interested, and avoid authority, acting on personal desire rather than a strict ethical code. Unlike chaotic evil, they do not inherently seek to harm others.
that's perfect. That's a perfect. That's a perfect description of Han Solo when we first meet him.
No,
When we, huh? What?
that is not a description of Han Solo. Han Solo has a hero's journey. It's completely different.
No, when we first meet him, that's exactly what Han Solo's like. He's all about his own self. He doesn't wish anything bad on other people. He's just all about his own journey and his own enrichment.
Jar Jar Binks. That's my example of a chaotic neutral.
Really? Jar Jar is a retard.
I don't know. I
No,
was
they just talk. The way they talk makes it imply that, but that's just their speech. That has nothing. Jar Jar is freaking pretty damn smart, and he's only self-serving. He wants to save his own people and cares nothing about the war that's going on or trade or anything else.
okay.
And he creates chaos everywhere he goes. He accidentally breaks something or knocks someone into space. Like he's fucking chaotic. He's
Yeah,
chaos.
but so is Han Solo. One being chaotic neutral doesn't mean the other one isn't
Where's
either.
the chaos that Han creates?
Well,
Every
no.
time every time he robs somebody or whatever, he's creating
The chaos he creates is through smuggling against the laws of the
Yeah,
empire.
yeah, yeah. That was the perfect description of Han Solo when we meet him. But he changes over time. You can be chaotic neutral. Maybe you can't change in the game, but you can in life.
Well, he changed the moment that he decided to come back and help Luke in the Death Star trip,
Right,
because
right.
he was going to go his own way with his reward, and he was going to go pay Jabba the Hutt off and get the bounty
Yep,
hunters off of his ass. But he
yep.
decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go and help this kid because I kind of like him or whatever. And, so
Yeah, it's constant.
that's
Yeah.
when he shifted.
Yes, he developed a conscience and he was stuck with it. So, at that point, he took a side because that's what you do when you have a conscience. You take a side. You take a side against evil. Actually, that's if you have a
I don't know. In
conscience.
my mind, the idea of chaotic neutral means that the only side you're on is the one that benefits you the most. Period.
Well, yeah.
But okay, but the chaos happens when because you are taking what you want for yourself, you're taking from somebody else.
Well, no, because Han Solo didn't take from anybody else. He just
Yes, he
broke.
did. He was a
No,
thief.
he smuggled shit. He wasn't a thief. He smuggled.
Okay, smuggling. Okay, that's a sort of a thief.
Well, he was a lawbreaker. Right? It's like a moonshine runner.
Not a
I
thief.
mean, the moonshine
He's
runner
moving.
didn't make it. He's just driving the car.
And
Yeah, he's just moving the product.
Did he not steal a ship?
I don't know.
Well, that was different. That was he needed to escape. That's not like he's planning on
It's
stealing ships to go sell
it's
them.
the
He's not a
same
thief.
thing. It's the same thing. If you steal somebody's property, if you steal a ship, which costs a lot of friggin' money, if you steal a ship, you are creating chaos for the person you stole it from, whether it's got to do with saving your life or not. He's just thinking that's the whole point, is that he's not trying to hurt anybody, he's trying to save himself.
I don't know.
That still fits in the same definition.
It's not how I see a chaotic neutral, but I can get where you're coming from.
Diplomat.
I just don't like people or organizations telling me what to do because I fucking can't stand it. It's just like it's an affront to my personal freedom.
I kind of agree, except that if you think that spitting on my front doorstep is a freedom of yours, then
No, I'm nice enough where I wouldn't do anything to affect anybody in a general, bad way or anything. But like, I want to do what I want to do. Like, if I don't want to wear a seatbelt, right? Who is that hurting except me?
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just that I do think that there should be some rules.
Yeah, but I didn't like it when
You want me to tell you who you hurt? Thought to eat you when you don't wear a seatbelt?
My family.
No, fuck your family. I don't care about your family, man. No, you hurt society as a whole when you don't wear a seatbelt and you get in an accident.
Yeah.
If you're wearing your seatbelt, your airbags work. Most often these days, from most accidents, you don't have to go to the hospital. You don't need services. if you're not wearing your seatbelt and say you get ejected from a vehicle,
Yeah.
you need hospital services now that could have been used for, that operating room that you need could have been scheduled for a cancer kid who had to get pushed back because now you need surgery because you didn't wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, but I don't care because I'll be dead.
Right, but you asked me how it affects anyone other than you.
Yeah.
That's all I was answering. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I didn't wear a
then you can
seatbelt
tell
most
New
of my
Hampshire-
life.
You can tell that to New Hampshire because they don't require it. And as soon as I cross the fucking border, every time I take my seatbelt off.
I didn't wear a seatbelt for years. I didn't wear helmets on motorcycles. I've had a couple of no seatbelt tickets. I still didn't wear seatbelts. I had a fear of small plate spaces from being locked in a closet as a child. So seatbelts would be just my anxiety couldn't take it.
Yeah.
My dad's life was saved by not wearing a seatbelt because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He got hit, and he moved down onto the seat just into time because if he had been wearing a seatbelt, he would have been crushed by his steering wheel. But because he went down on another seat, he was able to avoid the steering wheel. So that saved his life, not having a seatbelt.
So until I dealt with that and got over it, I couldn't wear a seatbelt, and now I do just to avoid the ticket. But I'm with you on the seatbelt thing. However, this is why society creates the laws, is because of that implied damage to what would be called the stakeholders.
Well, in other words, it comes down to money.
Well, that too. We don't
No.
have enough money for enough operating rooms.
Oh, that's the
And
way
the
you look at
insurance
it.
is going to spend less money if you walk away from an accident than if you end up in an operating room.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that the insurance goes up for everybody.
Well, but I mean, the insurance doesn't. So insurance collects your money. And if you never get in an accident or you never need their services, they've just made your money. However,
Yeah,
if you get in an accident
Yeah.
and you're less injured, they spend less money than if you're more injured. So their lobbyists got seatbelt laws passed because they're going to spend more money if you're more injured.
I think that your thing about how, I don't know about a cancer kid getting pushed back because that would have been a different surgery, so it would have been a different doctor. But if somebody else who was scheduled for surgery has to be moved back because you were in an accident, but I think that's sort of secondary. I don't think. I think that I just think that there should be some rules, but I think that we're totally over legislated, and there are way too many rules. That I mean, for Karens.
I'm not agreeing with the law here, Kat, at all.
Yeah.
Like, not at all.
Yeah, no, I know. You were just playing devil's advocate. I know.
No, I was just telling him who the people harmed are. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is just because there are people harmed by my actions doesn't always mean my actions are bad. Sometimes other people being harmed is an acceptable expense of my benefit.
I mean, the way that you put it, for if somebody gets moved back because of an accident, that's actually somebody potentially being harmed, as opposed to having to just wait. So,
Right. And I'm fine with that, is if I can have, well, and I don't believe in freedom, but I'm saying that in some instances the freedom of making a choice for myself is going to harm other people, and sometimes that's an acceptable casualty. Right, Zach? You don't care if cancer kid's surgery gets pushed back if it means you don't have to wear your seatbelt, do you?
Well, I don't know. Not really. I mean, to be honest.
If it wasn't you, it might have been. If it wasn't you, it might have been somebody else who pushed back his appointment, right?
I would have been unconscious at the time, probably, and then they would do my life-saving surgery, and then I would be mad when I woke up. I'd be like, "What the fuck did you save me for?" You know.
That happened. My dad. That happened to my dad and my daughter's grandmother. They were both pissed off that we saved them. They just wanted to
I
go.
I didn't face that when they resuscitated my mother against her DNR. I marched right in there and made them take her off of the life support.
Well, I don't. It would hurt me if I knew that my actions, if I just got in an accident and I had my seatbelt on and everything, I did everything right, and I still got in an accident, and then I wouldn't feel as bad. But if me not wearing a seatbelt made it so that I'm not going to say a cancer kid, because like again, that's not gonna happen. But somebody else who needed the surgery, like a heart surgery or something like that, and I had to have heart surgery myself because of something I did that was now, anybody who's got a heart problem, usually, not always, usually is because they ate too much McDonald's and stuff. So again, it's their fault that they've got this heart problem. But I mean, like something like where you're in an accident and it's like a one thing you did, and that one thing was the reason why somebody else. What if that person died because they thought that mine was more important because I'm younger than the other person or something like that, right? And then that person died, I would feel bad.
I don't know.
But
If
then
I
again,
don't know the person, and it's the will of God. If I was unconscious and then I came to and found out that somebody else died because they saved me, I would be mad that they bothered to save me. I would be like, why? But I wouldn't blame myself for circumstances and events.
I had that
I would
experience with
blame
my
myself
dad a
like,
little bit. My
yeah,
dad had a motorcycle accident and pretty severe. And by the time he woke up, he'd been on life support and now he was going to need dialysis for the rest of his life. And he was mad because he had told us all how he felt about that. But I
Yeah.
wasn't there. He had a girlfriend riding with him and she claimed to be his wife. And they listened to her and they resuscitated him and put him on all kinds of machines. He was in a coma for weeks. And when he woke up, he was going to need dialysis for the rest of his life. And he was pissed. And he came after me because he knew legally I was the only person who had a right to have done that. And I was like, I didn't do it. Nobody even told me you'd had the accident till like a week afterwards. And I came down and
Yeah.
hung out with you a little bit. I said there wasn't shit I could do then. They'd already done it all. And
Right.
and this woman claimed to be his wife and had me removed from the hospital when I was apologizing to him for him being there like that. And he got mad at me, and then we finally talked. Because when he woke up, I told him, I'm like, I didn't do this to you. And they got mad at me because I upset him and had me removed from the hospital. And when we finally talked a couple months later, they had convinced him I was the one who put him on all the machines. And we had a hard, long talk about it because I'd already unplugged my husband and later unplugged my mom. But he knew in my heart that I would have never done that when we talked about it. Like, no way in hell. I know my parents. They had quality over quantity always on their mind when it came to
right.
life. And I certainly would not have had them put my dad on a bunch of machines. And I didn't, when they put my mom on them, I went up there immediately. I mean, she was in Colorado and I had to travel. My mister got us flights the next morning and I went right into their office and I'm like, she needs to be unplugged now. Like, we don't need to wait. We don't need to talk about this. You guys have a DNR on file. I am here as her medical power of attorney. You got that on file too. Unplug her now.
I unplugged my father, but that's only because the only thing that was keeping him alive was that oxygen machine pumping up and down, and that
Yeah, it took
he couldn't breathe on it. He couldn't breathe on his own, and it went on for a little bit. And then I called my brothers, and they agreed, and then we unplugged him. I
it
unplugged
took
him.
4 days. 4 days for her lungs to stop mimicking the machine
Right,
of no brain activity.
right. Well, I don't know if they weren't measuring my dad's. Oh, geez, touch wood. They weren't measuring my dad's brain activity, but they were measuring his heart activity and his breathing, and everything was all because of the machines. And I even I even said to him, I'm going to let you go. And he was unconscious and he squeezed my hand.
Mm.
And so I was like, it was like he was saying, like, I understand, like, just let me go. And I
Yeah.
knew that he wanted me. I knew that before he was upset that we had saved him. And so I just was following with what he wanted. But it's not necessarily what I wanted, but, that's what he wanted. So.
Well, I still remember my grandfather's last words. He was saying, "Quit shaking the ladder, you little bastard."
You're so funny.
Oh, that was a good one.
No, I know it's serious business, and I don't want
No,
to
I
do it.
just all I'm saying
No,
is in this is that when it comes down to it, there's always collateral damage for our choices.
Yeah.
And we have to accept that collateral damage or not when we make the choice. And for
Well,
people to think that they can live their life without harming anybody else is hubris.
no, I don't think that. I don't think that I can live, speaking as the person on the panel who's not chaotic neutral, I don't think that I can live my life without hurting other people because I have. And not on purpose, but I have. And plus, you can't even walk without killing an ant. Like you're always doing some kind of damage. But things like, uh, you know, thinking that you are more important than somebody else, I don't think like that. I can't think like that. And that's why. And when I played D&D, I was always a good person. Like I was played a good person.
Okay, so roll back a little bit where you said as the only person who's not a chaotic neutral, you see me as chaotic neutral? I mean, I agree that is chaotic neutral, but you see me as chaotic neutral?
Your position on Palestine is.
I'm not neutral about that at all, and you don't want to get into that with me today. I do have to leave soon, but we don't want to leave fighting.
Okay, maybe my understanding of your position on Palestine, because maybe I can't take any other position without it hurting me. So my belief is that you don't have any ill will towards Palestinians or Israelis, and that you are just about the one world government, which would create chaos for all of us, but you seem to think it would be better. So that's the way that I'm thinking. And to me, that would be chaotic neutral because it causes a lot of chaos, but you don't mean any harm to anybody.
Miss Cat, if they draw China in, I'm fine with learning Mandarin. That's where I'm at on.
I know.
So it's not neutral, but it's definitely not either side of that particular conflict. That particular conflict is just a skirmish in the overall war, in my mind.
That's what I'm saying. You seem to think that it's, to me, it's the be all and end all. It's the choice. If you're a Christian, we're in Armageddon right now. This is Armageddon, whether they are pretending it to make it look like it or not. We are in Armageddon right now, and choosing a side is quite important. Whereas you don't choose a side, you're all for Armageddon because, like, I'm all for Armageddon because I believe that good's going to win. But you're all for Armageddon because you believe that neutral's going to win.
No. Neutral can't win. I believe that there is no winning. And when people stop trying to war against each other, they realize that everybody loses and we move on to a global community like we already are economically.
Bullshit.
Neutral winning.
Miss Cat,
Bullshit.
it's funny you say that because fucking I read an article today that said that there are military personnel complaining that their commanding officers have told them that Trump was anointed by Christ and
Yep,
this war is to bring about Armageddon.
yep. Yes, I didn't know that it was to bring about Armageddon, but we are actually in it already. And to bullshit on two things that you said, Nikki. One thing, the Palestinians don't want war. They are protecting them. What do you say? Defending themselves. That's a different thing than warring with somebody. Second of all, you want. Why am I yelling? You want uh, you want neutrality. You want everybody's culture to all be the same. And you're not, when you say about wanting to, about you're fine with learning to speak Mandarin, you don't want to speak Mandarin. You're just fine with learning it if that's what the choice of the one world government is. So that is all about being neutral. But
Well,
but
wait a
but
minute.
as far as the
When you say
Palestinians are
about
concerned,
Palestine, though, didn't they attack Israel at a music
that was
festival
it's
October 7th?
still it's still in defense because just that year over 350 Palestinians had been killed and nothing was done about it. And so they were trying to get, not only that, thousands and thousands of Palestinians have been kidnapped and put in torture jails, and they were trying to get their people back. That's what October 7th, why that happened. They were trying to get their people
Okay.
back. They took
Cat,
hostages.
Cat,
What?
just take
What?
a breath. I want you
Mm,
to calm down. You're raising your blood pressure. You can continue where you left off, but please calm down. That's all.
okay. Yeah, I can't talk about this without my blood pressure going up. Um, the Palestinians were trying to free their own prisoners by taking prisoners. Now, in the melee, because it was not announced, it wasn't something like all Muslims in Gaza knew what was going to happen. So all kinds of chaos happened, and in that chaos, including some of the fighters, right? Because the fighters are just regular people, but they were called to war, kind of thing, right? So
Mm.
they, they weren't apprised of what was going to happen. So I think that's why some people were taken that weren't, like there was a couple of kids that were taken with their parents, right? And none of the shit happened that was reported that happened. There were no ovens. There was no decapitation of babies. All that shit was all lies.
Okay, that
But
may have been lies, but I saw them shoot up a bunch of fucking residential homes and go through the homes and shoot any survivors that were in there. They killed
they
innocent
did.
people.
What, no, who's innocent? Name those innocent people, because
Well,
every single one of those goddamn fucking pieces of shit, not only are they for killing Palestinian children, but they also are part of the army that serves in Gaza or around Gaza. So they are not innocent. The
okay.
only innocent ones are the ones who refuse service to serve the IDF in the Palestinian territories. There are some that refuse to serve and they go to jail, and they are treated like Palestinians in the jails. They're treated really, really badly, but they are the only ones, and they are tiny, tiny, tiny handful of people. That whole fucking country is full of people who have been so brainwashed to the fucking tits that they
You know,
believe
you
what
know what's really interesting about this whole thing is that the propaganda war is winning and dividing people because
I'm telling you the
you
truth.
you say things you believe to be true, other people will say things they believe to be true, and in the end it's it's the message that's being sent to you, the message you're looking for, as opposed to what's actually happening. both
Tell me one
sides in
thing I
this
said that
both
wasn't true.
sides in this conflict are doing harm to one another.
Tell
You
me
think
one
it's
thing I said that
okay.
wasn't true.
Both sides think it's okay to do harm to the other side based on their own injury.
No, it's collateral damage. It's not okay. I'm not saying that it's okay to just go in and just start shooting up Israelis because they shot us up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
You
that
just
in the
said which of them
making,
are innocent. You
well,
literally,
yeah, there isn't. There isn't, unless I told you that there is a small handful. There's also a small handful of settlers because there is, I mean, a very, very tiny handful of settlers that are innocent because they protect the children going to school. They still might want to shoot their parents, but they protect the children going to school. And that's a very tiny, tiny handful of women that have walked the children to school to protect them from being shot at. But those people are fucking animals. And everything that they accuse us of is what they do. And you tell me one thing I said that wasn't true.
Okay, Miss Cat, but they say the exact same thing about your people.
But what they say isn't true, and it's been
but they
proven
say what you
to not
say
be
isn't true. That's the point I'm making. It's a
But we
propaganda
have
war.
proof on our side. We
There's
have
proof on
proof
both
on our
sides.
side. There have been investigations that have proven our side. There is video that proves our side. There is no video except AI video. There is no true video that proves their side, and there are no investigations that prove their side. What I'm saying is true.
And they say the same thing, though. I mean, this is
There were no babies.
this is the argument of every country at war. They say that they are the ones who are right. You know?
No,
I mean, by
that's
way of example, let's get off of
statement.
Palestine, Miss Cat. I don't have a lot of time to hang out left today, and I don't want to be arguing. Let's get
All
off of
right.
Palestine and switch the example. Right now, Iran has claimed that they struck our carriers multiple times in
Yep.
the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. claims they haven't. Iran is claiming hundreds killed, where the U.S. is saying less than a dozen. So.
Okay.
Like,
I again,
it's all propaganda war.
Iran may be lying about some things because I know that in war people lie. However, in my experience, the Muslims often are telling the truth because they are very close to God. They believe in what they're doing, and they believe in their religion, and they believe in their morality, and therefore
But
will be more towards the truth than not. And I've seen video of that aircraft carrier was hit 4 times, and that was days ago. So I don't know if they hit them again, but days
I would
ago
like to
they hit
hear
that one 4 times.
I would like to hear how you believe 560 families would be silenced about their dead loved ones on that aircraft carrier
I
if
don't think they know. I don't think they know.
The Abraham Lincoln?
I think
Yeah,
that's the one.
yeah.
And Israel is claiming hundreds of casualties where the US is not. And
Yeah, well,
I'm
they're
not going
lying.
to say which
There's
one is
always
true. All I'm saying is they're both putting out their own propaganda about what's going on.
Well, I've watched
Okay.
bombs hitting. I watched Iranian cluster bombs hitting Tel Aviv, and the Iron Dome missile defense system can't get all of them because they split up into clusters, and they were
Not
bombing
only
the
that,
shit out of Tel Aviv, man.
it's not just the sheer volume, although that is definitely a factor, but it's also the way that the Iranians have made their missiles. There are certain missiles that they've made that are they're not detectable by those, not the Iron Dome, but there's also David Sling, and I think there's an Atom or something like that, another one name, and they can't detect them because they either are too high up or they're too low down, and they also their signature is light, so it's not as heavy, not as hot a signature. So that Iron Dome, they tried to make the whole thing about the Iron Dome is for years, we believed that Israel had the best defense systems, that they were untouchable and all this shit, when they were so touchable. And Iran was the ones who proved it back in the 12-day war last year. They proved it, that the Iron Dome was not. It was, oh, I heard somebody make it was called the Iron Sieve or something like that. And like it was propaganda to make us think that Israel was so untouchable, and so everybody
Again, that's
was
you're
like,
coming right back to the fact that it's propaganda on both
yeah,
sides that is
no,
creating division between everybody, and
no,
that would be the ultimate goal.
no, it's Zionism. That is, it's Zionism, which is the new Nazism.
So only one
No,
side lies. Only one side lies. You're
no, I
convinced of
just
that.
said to you that it's possible that Iran, like for instance, I don't think that the Ayatollah will lie, but I do think that it's possible the president might lie, right? So there is in war, there is times where people might lie, and I said that, I acknowledge that, but I said I'm more
So if
inclined
you
to
don't
believe
believe the Ayatollah would lie, do you believe that the Pope wouldn't lie also?
the Pope is the Pope is part of one of the biggest friggin' uh, uh, cartels in the world. So yeah, I do believe he'd lie.
What's different between the Pope and the Ayatollah? Why is one closer to God?
Because the Ayatollah actually believes in what they're doing, and the Pope is part of a money-making scheme.
Well, if they don't stop believing in what they're doing soon, they're going to get real close to God.
I'll tell you something. As far as I'm concerned,
Oh my God,
Iran is winning. Iran is winning. I mean, yes, the Americans.
Listen, I saw all morning about Tehran in flames. Like they blew up huge things in Tehran. Even the gas lines that were connected to the gas factory blew up in the streets. Flames.
Yeah. And guess what? There will be a retaliation for that too, and you are not going to like it. I'm telling you, all the American bases, almost all of the American bases, have been bombed to shit. They all look like Gaza.
We emptied them, and we wanted that. That's how we get our Congress to approve more money to build more.
No, they're not. No. Building back is not an option. If they're building back, they are going to be an enemy of Iran. So they bomb
back. Yeah, they always build back. They bomb our embassies and our bases all the time in these skirmishes that we don't call wars because Congress doesn't vote on them, and then Congress gives them more money to rebuild them once we're done.
Not
it
like
happens
this.
over and over.
No, the Americans are being erased out of the Middle East, and that's what Iran wants. And not just Iran, they are the head of the resistance. And the resistance is many Arab countries, many Muslims, not just, I mean, there's other, I'm not saying the Philippines is in this, but the Philippines is a Muslim country. There are other Muslim countries where there's not even Arabs. So the Muslims want the Americans out. They are the great Satan. So is Israel.
Wait a minute. The radical Muslims. Don't you remember back in the 70s when Iran was westernized and no one had to wear a hijab or anything?
Hijab. And that was something that was fought against in 1979. They were in 1954 or something like that, when the Americans interfered and put in the Shah, right? That was against what the Iranians wanted. And then they finally revolted against the Shah in 1979 and put an Ayatollah in. And ever since then, they want the Americans and the Western people to stop. That not just they don't want to kill all Western people, but they want to get the Americans out of the Middle East, out of Muslim countries.
Didn't they just kill 2,000 protesters that were trying to make it westernized?
I don't know if that's true or not. There's a lot of American propaganda that's like completely untrue, but I don't know if it's true or not. But these people who are protesting, They can protest, but that doesn't mean that they're on the American side. And that's the whole point, is that even though there are people who are protesting the Iranian government, does not mean that they are for America. They are still against America. They want them Western influence. They don't want people who don't know how to raise their children properly in their midst, people who think that it's okay for their little boy or girl to not know what sex they are, like for people to be
Okay, take a
in
deep
the
breath.
middle of the,
Take a deep breath.
for people to
Take a
be in the
deep breath.
middle of the
Because
street.
all you're doing is reinforcing that you think one propaganda is true, and I don't want to keep getting into the details. You think one propaganda, because that's where we argue. You think one propaganda is true, but the other not, because he said, well, I've heard there were people protesting who were killed. You're like, well, I don't even know if that's true. And then you go off on another spiel of propaganda from the other side.
No, what I said is truth. I am not. I said to you that I don't know if the Iranians have been killing their own people for
how many Iranians have you personally met who out on the street in Iran who told you that they think that the West doesn't know how to raise their babies and that they're anti-American?
How many have I seen?
No, have you met? How many Iranians have you personally spoken with, not on some video on YouTube, who told you that they believe that the West is evil?
I don't know any Iranians, but you can't.
You're speaking for all of them. You don't know any Iranians, but you're speaking for all of them based off of videos off the internet.
You can't trust what people say in the West. Okay, you have to trust what they say.
Trust what either side says is what I'm trying to tell you, Miss Cat. There is no good guy.
An Iranian in the West is not the same side. Okay, there's you can't say.
I didn't say that. I said you can't trust either side. It's all propaganda, Cat.
Who am I going to meet? I'm going to meet somebody in the West. I live in the West. I'm not going to meet somebody who is not in the West unless I'm actually online or something. But
there's panels all the time with people from all over. You're making blanket statements about what the Iranian people want, and you're neither Iranian nor do you know any of them. You're basing it off of videos you've seen online. Well, there are counter videos to that online as well.
Look,
that's why I'm saying it's all propaganda.
Of course, I'm making blanket statements. Again, I established that way back, that I was making blanket statements, because
you're basing them off of what you've seen on the internet, and I'm telling you that is as much propaganda as the stuff you hate.
Okay, there's good propaganda and bad propaganda, right? So there's all things can be considered propaganda.
No,
but when we say it,
there's neither good nor bad propaganda. Propaganda is just using the media to enforce an idea by presenting it from a specific perspective.
Wow. You pulled that out of your head?
She's really good at that.
Yes, Satuichi.
That was like a dictionary definition of it.
I know, and she's really good at isolating and honing in on what definitions are. But that's because her and Den used to play that game too.
So, this is just who I am. Don't relate it to Den. And the fact is, that's what I was proposing, was that both sides use propaganda. And your argument is that, well, my propaganda is true.
I was trying to
I got to agree with Nikki here, because you sound like you're on the side of your people, so to speak. And
I'm on the side of resistance. I'm on the side of the Jedis. I'm against the Empire.
Let him have a moment, Cat. Let him have a moment.
You know what happened?
Please,
you know what happened to the Jedis, right?
No, I only watched 4, 5, and 6.
Well, they got wiped out. The Jedis got wiped out. They were not enough resistance, and
twice.
With some of these let's call them extremist groups that want death to America and call us the great Satan and everything, you know, they are not in the numbers maybe that you think they are, and they are not going to win, and innocent people are going to suffer as a result of it.
Okay, death to America is a little bit strong. That might be an extremist point of view. I don't want death to America, for God's sakes. I just want America to be put in their place. They're just a country. They're not in charge of the world, and they are not going to be my ruler. So I am for the resistance, but I'm not in the favor of death to America. Geez, half my friends are American. I don't want death to America. I love the United States as a like just a regular country. It's just that when it comes to the politics of the world, America needs to be under the jail. They need to be prosecuted and held responsible for the absolute evil that they are. And it's not just the United States, it's the Zionists. The Zionists are the great evil that runs the United States. Because it's not the American people are just brainwashed. They're just sheep. They're just like regular people. But the people that run the United States are Zionist puppets. I mean, the only reason I'm telling you right now, this is just from my belief. It's not truth. It's just my belief. But the only reason why the United States did this war was because Trump was being blackmailed by Netanyahu, who is controlling the Epstein files, because there's a shitload more in the Epstein files that we haven't seen, and Trump would bring the United States into a war just to protect himself. That's how lowly he is. But I don't think that he wanted this war at all. I think he was blackmailed into this war.
To be fair, he also said he would release a lot of the UFO files. So
he's a liar. He's just a pathological liar. And the only reason why...
And they did release a lot of the UFO files. And to be fair, I don't believe that this quote-unquote war, which technically, according to the United States, is not a war yet because our Congress has not declared war. So that's got to be thrown out there. But this military action that's going on is not about the Epstein files. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, how long has Iran been attacking shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and fucking up international shipping, right? Hezbollah.
This conflict has to do with international shipping. You're correct, Zato.
Bullshit! Oh my God! You seriously think this has to do with shipping?
With control over international shipping, yes. It has to do with the fact that we cut off oil to China from Venezuela, and now we have to cut off oil to China from Iran, or I'm going to have to learn Mandarin.
Oh, you're trying to say that's what the American reason was. I thought you were trying to say that's what the Iranian reason was. The American reason...
Oh, no, I know why Iran hates us, and I don't blame them for it. I'm just saying the American reason for getting into this at all has to do with control of trade and especially oil and oil byproducts.
Not. Netanyahu has wanted to attack Iran, and that's why you guys got into the Iraq war. That's why you attacked. That's why you killed 1 million people in Iraq. That's why you killed all those people in Afghanistan. That's why you got all those people.
Just because our desires align. Just because our desires have aligned with Israel doesn't mean Israel's running the shots. We made Israel. We can take Israel out.
No, you could. But you see, all of your politicians are paid by AIPAC, and they've got Israeli money in their pockets, and that's what they're doing. And that is the truth.
Where does Israeli money come from?
From the Zionists.
No, the AIPAC gets its money from the Israeli government. The Israeli government is almost 80% funded by the US government. It's just a money laundering scheme to
No,
get that
it's
money into
from
the
the
politicians'
Zionists.
pockets. It has nothing to do with Zionism.
Yeah, it's absolutely got to do with Zionism, and you'd have to be absolutely fucking blind if you don't see the Zionist agenda playing out exactly the way they want it to. Just like Netanyahu, who is the head of the Zionist politics. He's not the head of all of Zionism, but he is the representative of the Zionist agenda. And everything that he wants is what ends up happening. They want America to do. And America just goes along, gets led along by the nose like little dogs on a fucking leash. It's so fucking, it's
Or
so
or Netanyahu and the politicians in America are both, along with the politicians in Iran and the politicians in Russia and the politicians in China, are all being led to do exactly what they do, like the puppets that they are, by the economic masters.
No, somebody's got to be running the economic. It's human beings, well, unless it's AI, it's human beings that are running the economic. They want the economic. And by the way, as far as I'm concerned,
But they're not the politicians.
The absolute top echelons don't give a fuck about money because they know it's not real. They just use money to control us. But I don't think the top echelon, not to echelons, echelon, you don't give a fuck about money. It's not about money. It's not about oil. It's about control.
Yeah, but the ones in the top echelon have the money.
Yeah, but yeah, I know that because they use it. It's like
and that's what I'm saying to you, Kat. That's what I'm saying to you, Kat. It's not about money. It's about controlling the trade routes. It's about consumption and not money.
It's about controlling people. It's about controlling people. It's more of a spiritual war than it is about an economic war or a religious war or anything like that. It's a spiritual war. They want control over our energy. They're fucking vampires and they suck our energy.
I said this a little bit ago that I was going to have to go soon, and I really meant that. I have an appointment coming up.
Nick, I gotta go too, but hey, you and Miss Cat, please come if I go live later or anytime, please come to my panel and we can continue this discussion.
Lovely.
Well,
thank you.
Let me give you guys each a chance for last thoughts before we go out. So I don't know if you want to start, Zato.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the history of the wars in the Middle East. All I know is that since I was 4 or 5 years old, I've been hearing about these fucking conflicts over there. And I just wish that, there would be some sort of resolution, but there won't be because there are even conflicting tribes of Muslims that fight against their own religious sects. So I mean, how can you fight a common enemy if everyone's your enemy? That's it.
Thank you for the invitation, Zaddy. Is that?
Yeah, man. I would love to hear from you.
Great. Thank you. My last word.
Oh, go ahead, Miss Cat.
No, go ahead. Answer.
I just wanted to respond to Zato before I gave you the floor. Zatoichi, wasn't your last stream about near the end of the year that Zero paid for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll be back on your panel when you're throwing his ass off of it. Okay, Miss Cat, your turn.
He hasn't even showed up lately. I don't know why, but maybe because he came up and he just fucking rizzed me or whatever, chastised me. But like, I don't know.
To me what's going on?
Huh?
Can you explain to me what's going on about Zero?
I don't know what's going on with Zero.
No, I don't understand this.
He paid for a year of StreamYards for Zatoichi and kind of acted like he thought he could act however he wanted because of it.
Oh, I see.
But anyway, your turn, Miss Cat, for closing thoughts because I got to get going soon.
Okay, that whatever you heard was on ABC, NBC, CBS, all controlled by the Zionists who want you to believe that that Jews and Palestinians have been fighting forever. All these things are also bullshit propaganda. They wanted you to think those things. And the second thing I wanted to say was, I love you, Nikki. I hope your appointment goes well. And thank you very much for having me on your panel.
Yeah, Nikki, good luck.
Well, thank you guys for coming over. It's just a weekly scheduled thing. I got to go take my daughter, but thank you guys for coming up. I'm really glad you came over and had a conversation with me because I was looking for one this morning and nobody was live. I guess I got it earlier than everybody else because I don't stay
do
up
it
all
more
night.
often.
Well, no, it's
Do
a
it more
work day.
often.
People don't stream much on work days usually.
Well, I'm not
do it
streaming
more
for
often because I'm not
viewership, as
streaming.
you can see. So
I'm not streaming very often, so I want you to stream. So do it more often.
Yeah.
I will try. I'll catch you guys around. Love you guys.
All right. Love you too.
You all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.